Hey folks, Tanner Johnson here from Well Played. Just wanting to make sure that everybody out there is staying safe, but still doing their best to have a good time. We understand being quarantined at this time can be a bit difficult and a bit strenuous on the family and people that you're around, but we have several ideas for many activities you can do to help keep yourself engaged. Whether you have a huge library of games like we do, or have very few, we can probably bet that you'll have a deck of cards lying around your house somewhere. And there is a multitude of games that can be played with just this very simple object. The blog that'll be coming at the same time of this video will be able to tell you a little bit more about games that we highly recommend. Even something as simple as pillow forts and scavenger hunts can be enough to help break the monotony of staying at home. But I'm going to be teaching you a game today with something that all you need is a piece of paper, a pencil, and 6 dice. I'm going to be teaching you the game of Farkle. In Farkle, you're going to need 6 dice. Right now I've only got 1, and you might only think that you have 1 at home too. But if you've got a couple of games and are willing to look through them all, there's a good chance you'll be able to find a couple more. The colors of them won't matter, just so long as they're all normal D6 dice. In the game of Farkle, the goal is to be the first player to get to 10,000 points or go over that by as much as you possibly can. On a player's turn, you will take all 6 dice and you'll roll them. What you're looking for is various combinations of dice and certain symbols to show up, and that will determine how many points you get. Any 5 you roll is going to be 50 points, any 1 you roll is 100 points. Everything else isn't worth anything unless you can roll certain sets. So in this exact example, I have 2 5s, which add up to be 100 points, and I happen to roll 3 of the same number. When that occurs, you get that number times 100 points. So for now, I have scored 400 points. In your first turn of Farkle, it is required that you get at least 500 points before you are able to write down any of your score. So in this case, I could choose to re-roll some of these and keeping some off to the side, or re-rolling this single 4 that's scoring me nothing and hoping to get what I need. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get another 5, a 1, or anything that adds to a set I already have, and because of that, I lose all points for that round. The dice will then pass on to the next player. They will then roll the dice very similarly to the way you did, and then they will keep track of their score. The various combinations of dice will determine how many points you'll get, and the more rare the combination, the more points you'll receive. If you ever roll 3 of the same number, you will get that many points times 100. If you ever roll 4 of the same number, no matter what that number is, you'll receive 1,000 points. 5 of that number will be 2,000 points, and all 6 numbers will be 3,000 points. For this combination to get you that many points, you must roll all of these same symbols in a single roll. You will never add to previous sets you have already started. There's other ways of scoring beyond rolling just all the same number as well. If you roll 2 sets of 3, then that will award you 2,500 points. If you roll 3 sets of 2, in fact, that will also get you 1,500 points. And anytime you can get a straight in a single roll, that will also get you 1,500 points. Let's try an example of a turn and see how well we do. I'm going to take all 6 dice and roll them. We got pretty lucky on this first roll because we rolled 3 of the same number. We're going to score that number times 100 points, so we've set aside 600 points for ourselves, and this 5 is worth 50 on its own. Unfortunately, a pair by itself isn't worth much. So now we have to make the decision of keeping this 650 points or rolling these dice to hopefully get more. In this situation, I would probably be inclined to keep the points that I have already received, because a pair of anything will never score me points, so the only way these dice would get me more points is by rolling 1s or 5s. But perhaps I'm already down compared to my other players, so I decide to take a chance. Unfortunately, I have not rolled either a 1 or a 5, so my points are wiped for that turn. Alright, the dice have come back around, and we're going to try and give it another roll. Alright. This time we've gotten 3 4s, which gets us 400 points, and a 1, which gets us 100. That puts us at an even 500 points. Since last turn I was a little bit greedy and decided that I wanted to re-roll these dice, I'm going to stick with what I have and write down 500 points. Farkle is a very simple game that really only requires these 6 dice to play. And even if you search around your home and don't find 6 dice, there are free applications you can get on your smart devices that let you roll dice and see their results. It won't have quite the same feel, but you'll definitely still be able to play the game. Well, we hope that this introduction to Farkle was interesting and helpful to you. We're going to be coming out with more content as the quarantine continues, but we encourage everybody to wash their hands, stay safe, and play more games.